please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before I go into the details of my motion, let's remember, obviously, we're fast approaching an election. And as we approach elections, issues that are quite important to our residents become a little bit of a political knockabout instead of being about the residents. So when I'm standing here this evening and I'm talking about our police station, I'd beg of you all that this isn't just an opportunity to knock a bit out of each other and score some points for your election leaflets, which I don't have to worry about. But it's an opportunity to make sure that the people of Havering know that we can be united as a chamber in standing up for them. Because I think this is one of those cross-party causes where we're all concerned about what's going on with the police. We'll have different views about whether the borough's safe and whether we're doing enough, but we all want to see better from our police, Madam Mayor. There's two ways we can look at police front desks. We can look at the data, and then we can look at the people. So I'm going to start a little bit with the data, but then we'll get to the people. There's really, really bad data. I've spent ages looking for the data. How many people are using Romford's police desk? There's just none, Madam Mayor. This decision that we've been told has been made based on the needs and so on. There's no publicly available information that I can find as to how many people are going into Romford's police desk. What I can find is some London-wide data. And do you know when that data was from? 2016. So all I can do is tell you the state of the situation in 2016. And in 2016, the data I've got here from MOPAC is about 8% of all crimes were reported at front desks. So if we presume that crime hasn't got any worse since 2016, that we're at those levels, you're looking at around 60,000 crimes reported in police front desks in London in just 1 year. And if we assume Havering's proportion of that is on track, it's about 1,400 crimes a year will be reported at Havering's front desk. And there's not many front desks in Havering, Madam Mayor, so I'm going to attribute a good chunk of those 1,400 to Romford. So there's a little bit of mathematics playing, a little bit of statistics playing, but it shows something. It shows that actually these front desks are important to the public. They are in use. And what we've been told is that there was an in-depth consultation that happened. We apparently were consulted as politicians. I was reading the Met Engage thing and it said, well, we spoke to the politicians about. I don't know if anybody here heard anything and got any kind of consultation about what they think of the police desks coming through. I didn't get anything and it's in my ward. But if the Assembly member got something, he's very privileged. But we didn't get this consultation through. Madam Mayor, then we look at the stories of the individuals. And I think especially of the residents that contact me and talk about their fears of what's going on in Romford. And when you have this debate with the public, you get the pushback. Well, that's all right, they can ring 999. Well, Madam Mayor, ringing 999 when your phone's been nicked is not the easiest thing to do. And when all the phone boxes have been ripped out and replaced with LED screens trying to sell me fried chicken, it's not that easy to report the crime. Or you can ring 101. You'll be lucky if you get a crime number out of 101. Or you can just go online and fill in a web form. None of that takes into consideration someone that might be walking home late at night and feels like they're being followed and wants somewhere safe to go. Well, now, if they feel at fear and it happens to be 8 p.m. on a Saturday, they don't have a police desk to go to. Madam Mayor, my motion is quite simple, that we're asking for the closure of the front desk to be reversed. And we're asking that because it's the only 24-hour front desk in Havering. Because the data that we've got that is very, very poor suggests that there is still a need for it. I don't know if it's in the middle of the night or at lunchtime, but I know people are afraid and people want to be able to report these crimes. To Labour's amendment, all I would say is this. You're calling for the decision to be reviewed. Well, the decision's only just been made and there isn't sufficient data in there. If you want it reviewed, you must think there's something wrong with that decision. And if you think there's something wrong with that decision, you've got to call for it to be reversed. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much. Super Sub, you're up.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. I've got 3 minutes. There you go. Look, as I got 3 minutes, let's make something clear. It's a terrible decision, but it's not the fault of the Barking and Dagenham Labour MP that our police station is losing those hours. So if every MP is going to campaign for their police station to stay open, so I think it's a terrible decision. You know, she doesn't need me to defend her, but it's not her fault. So let's make sure we're not blaming an MP for standing up for their residents, because we would demand the same of our MP as well. That said, maybe there has been a trade-off that's been made. Maybe another borough has been prioritised over ours. I don't know. I'm not going to make that accusation. But something is wrong. Something's wrong with the money that our police is getting. I went and I spent an evening with the police on St. Patrick's Day, not this one, the one just gone, and I did a night shift with them. And I was amazed. They had in place I can't remember the order, you're allowed to disperse people. And every time they had some lad that they pulled out of a nightclub because he was doing drugs, and they went to disperse him. 3 police officers would gather around and they would manually write down his details. Pen and paper, copying his driver's license, everything. You go abroad, you go to Europe, they take your driver's license, they scan it on a system, it prints out a ticket, and the guy's sent away. It takes seconds. Why on earth are our police walking around with pens and pencils, manually writing down details? If we want to talk about the police putting their resources in the right place, instead of closing our police desks, how about we get them to start investing in 2025 technology? Maybe that's the solution here. Madam Mayor, I've not been a police officer like Councillor Taylor,
Barlow.
I've not been a police officer, but I did night shifts at Premier Inn. I took on a second job, long story. I was saving up for the wedding, so I took on a second job, and I did night shifts at Premier Inn. There was no police station nearby. If I was judged on the value of my job based on how many people came through, they wouldn't bother hiring me, because most of the night you sat there twiddling your thumbs or playing solitaire. But every now and then, one person would turn up. Often they'd be desperate for a room because they've been evicted, because they've had a domestic situation, they need to get out of their home. And if I wasn't there, keeping that desk open in the hotel late at night, they wouldn't have anywhere to go. And Madam Mayor, we have people turn up fleeing violence that needed somewhere to go, and they ended up in the hotel front desk. This isn't about numbers, this is about the individuals. Let's make sure that we send a really clear message tonight that Havering is not going to accept the loss of the only 24/7 police desk. Thank you.